Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzie, and after a week at Masuna, I'm back with another video for EVE Echoes. Now, today's video is going to be me going over Wednesday's patch notes, and I know what you're thinking, Benzie, these have been out for like 4 or 5 days now. Why are you doing a patch notes video this late on? Because as I read through these patch notes, I realised that, well, there's actually quite a lot to talk about here, some cool things and some really quite distressing things. So that's what we're going to do. Think of this less as a Benzie reading and explaining the patch notes video and more a Benzie reacting to the patch notes video. Now again, I do apologise if I come across a little ranty in some of this. I've basically come to the decision over the past couple of weeks that with the state of things as they are in Echoes, I need to be, well, I've always been honest. There's no two ways about it. I need to be honest, but I need to be more honest with myself and how I feel about this. And sometimes talking about that can be quite cathartic and helpful for me. And try to support the game in all ways possible, and that means that when content is released that is hashtag not for me, I suppose, ultimately I can still support that because I can see who it's working towards. However, recent changes have somewhat skewed that. So anyway, without further ado and without any more of the preamble, hit like and let's jump straight in on this. So first of all, we have a new content warning. Dormant Realm. The third level of Dormant Realm, Law of the Deep, is now available. Capital ships can enter this level. Protect the science vessel that is carrying out the scientific investigation together with your teammates. So yay! Basically, what we are now seeing from Dormant Realms is that EVE Echoes took one of the best small and medium ship pieces of content from EVE Online, Abyssal Dead Spaces. Not only did they make it battleship-centric, but the new variants for it are capital-centric. And we know pretty much that the fourth one is also going to be a capital level 1 at this point in time. They've pretty much all but confirmed that. This is so disappointing. Now, look, if you're a capital ship pilot, awesome, you deserve more content. They released capital ships way too early, and there has been very little content for them for over a year now. Well, almost a year now. They launched in October 2021. Now, I get this, and I'm all for that. What gets me is that that should have been one of the first ones, if anything. If you're going to do Dormant Realms and you're going to make it capital available, then make it one of the first ones out. Don't make people wait for it. It should have been capital and small ship. Battleships are not lacking in the content department. They can do any of the cosmic anomalies in nullsec, lowsec, and highsec. They can go encounter running in places like Claralam and the other various highsec islands. They have all of the Nihilist dead spaces that they can clear better than any other ship out there. You have everything from your Overseer dead spaces to your Inquisitors. Everything that is PvE is currently battleship-centric. And so we didn't need more of that. What we needed Dormant Realms to be was something for capitals, and something for sub-capitals of the small and cruiser variety, so frigates, destroyers, and cruisers. And that is just not what it has been. So, I'm kind of happy to see. Yeah, we have a capital ship version of the Dormant Realm. Arguably, again, did we really need it when capital ships are pretty much soloing SFRPs and FRPs and that on their own, and they're quite capable of ratting as well? I don't know. I think it should have been lower priority than the frigates, destroyers, and cruisers, and people are going to say, well, of course, Benzie, because that's your playstyle. Of course you want that at the forefront. It's not about it being my playstyle. It's about it being there nothing else available for those ships. Anyone who tells me, oh, but you've got like Nihilist Dead Space 6 that you can do with a healer or a phantasm. Yeah, if you can find one. Or if you can set up a Nihilist Dead Space generator to make one once or twice a week if you're lucky. So yay, thank you, I get to log in and just cross my fingers there might be something for me, whereas if you're a capital or battleship pilot, you know that the content is there guaranteed when you log in. Tell me how that's fair. It's not, but apparently I appear to be one of the few content creators with an actual problem with this. I think Geeker's kind of got a bit going on, but some of the other folks that we were talking to about this, it's just like, oh well, you know, I've got my battleship, so screw all you guys, I can do this, and I'm loving it. And I'm glad people are loving Dormant Realms. I really am. I think they're really cool. I just think it was a massively missed opportunity, like literally the biggest missed opportunity outside of the April balance patch and its speed nerfs since the game launched. And again, that's going to sting for a while. Let's move on. Chinese voice now available, so now you can choose the corresponding male or female Chinese voice for the intelligent assistant. I've seen a lot of people going like, oh wow, who the hell cares? There are people out there who care, and ultimately I don't think this is a big thing. I think this is one of those things that obviously the Chinese voices are available on the Chinese server anyway. They've now just transferred them over and given you the option to use them. Cool, great if you want it, and it's minimal effort from the devs, so yeah, let's move on. New event, Dormant Realm Double Reward. During the event period, capsuleers can get double rewards for completing it. Double rewards only for a week. Hurry up and gather your teammates to challenge Dormant Realm together. I would if I had battleship skills. That's the grope here. That's the problem that I'm facing. Oh yeah, we've got all this new content and these new events, and I can't do them. Neither can many people in the player base. If you're lower than tech level 9, you can't do any of this. It is just top tech level stuff that doesn't help us promote new players joining and staying in the game. Dormant Realms could have been a fantastic thing for new players to stick around and do. It meant that people who wanted to continue doing cosmic anomalies could skill into cruisers and then into battle cruisers and eventually battleships and go up that route, but those folks who enjoyed flying cruisers, destroyers and frigates would have something to do, and you make it so that it's not... I've seen people say, oh, maybe you should make it so difficulty 5, up to difficulty 5 you can do with small ships and then difficulty... No, let's not split it like that, because then basically you're still saying, oh yeah, battleships can still do it better. No, give me a Dormant Realm that is exclusive to frigates, destroyers, and cruisers, and make it so that, you know, you need those different ships. Get rid of some of the webs so that the frigates are a little bit better and stuff like this. It needs to go all the way from difficulty 1 to difficulty 10, and it means that new players, say tech level 5 upwards, can jump in and do the low difficulty ones with friends, and then as you reach tech level 10 and you're flying things like assault destroyers, and the assault 2s and assault frigates and things like that, and the faction frigates, suddenly you can do up to the difficulty 10 with implants and top tier small ships. That's how this should have been, something that newer players can access and can grow with the game, and they can start challenging new difficulty levels as they reach new ships, giving them actually something to be excited. Like, yay, I've got my Thrasher 2, and now I can upgrade it to a Thrasher Fleet issue. That's really cool, because the Fleet issue is going to help me in new, higher level difficulty. Now we've got the Guardians as well that are going to help keep us alive, and I can bring in, like, a Burst 2 or a Bantam 2 to help keep us alive, and actually use those sodding logistics frigates that are sitting around doing nothing. We have small-sized Guardians, we've got small-sized logistics, we just don't have anything to actually use them. Having a cruiser level 1 where you can have, say, a Rupture Guardian healed by a Scythe and a couple of Stabber Fleet issues and stuff to do some damage, and then as you increase in the difficulty, you need bigger and better ships. How amazing would that have been? But no, events and battleships, again, still. Now, let's change the pace here a little bit. Project Discovery. This was teased back in April of 2021, of them working with, I think it was the University of Belgium, doing some protein sample analysis, and this was really cool. Project Discovery is a big thing for me in EVE Online. It's a way to do actual real-world science in-game and get some rewards for it. It's something you can just dock up and do as like a mini-game, and it's a lot of fun. If you're interested in that, I have kind of touched upon it in my EVE Online series, where I look at the Air Career Program, specifically the Explorer branch of the Air Career Program. Anyway, let's look at it in echoes. So duration, oh, for crying out loud, August 15th to December 19th. So, okay, it's a couple of months, but it's a limited time thing. Project Discovery is going to be there and then not be there. So if you like this, enjoy it while it lasts. Project Discovery is now available. Reach tech level 7 or above to participate and complete it to earn science credits. Science credits can be used in the exchange store to exchange for Enforcer prototype ships, skins, and science reward crates. So there we are. Now we know why the Enforcer prototype was added, and that's how you're going to get it. During the event, capsuleers ranked on the weekly leaderboard and all-time leaderboard will obtain a variety of honor medals and supply crates. Open the supply crate for a chance to obtain the Enforcer Infinite Nanocore, which can also be purchased in the New Eden store. So great. There's a couple of really cool things about this that I like. That, yes, you're going to be able to get the Enforcer prototype, including skins and these reward crates, whatever's in them, as free players. I think that's awesome, and I think Project Discovery can be a lot of fun. I think it's good that the leaderboard is linked to supply crates and honor medals, not anything tangible. It gives you, like, a reward for doing it, but it doesn't mean that people who, you know, aren't quite as good or able to go in as much, because let's be honest, a lot of these leaderboards tend to be just who has the, the least other responsibilities in life. They're not going to just win everything and everyone else is sitting there going, well, I wish I could, but I can't. That's cool. I like that. I like that they've done it that way. What I don't like is that you can see here the Enforcer Infinite Nanocore can also be purchased in the New Eden store. So yeah, you're going to have a low chance of obtaining it naturally, or you're going to pay Aurum or real money for it, rather than that being something that you get just through repeated. In EVE Online, when you do Project Discovery, you can earn blueprints for the various different Concord ships through doing that, some skins and some cosmetics, but it is just done on how long you are playing it, how much you engage with the system. Here, it's pure chance. It's yet more RNG in a game that really doesn't need more of it. I'm also really perplexed as to why it has to be tech level 7. Yay, you're a brand new player, we've got this cool new system that we're adding, and we're gonna lock it behind tech level 7. At least it's tech level 7 and not a mega. I'm good with that. If this turns out to be a mega locked, I'm going to be really angry, because that's a really cool little system, really cool game to get people involved with, and it genuinely helps real world science. When we were doing it in EVE Online, we were looking for exoplanets and using that data to actually, search through and sift through real world data, and they did find new exoplanets from it. Real life science in a video game that gave you video game rewards. Then they moved on to the COVID one, where you had liquid cytography being used as a way to help identify the coronavirus proteins. And that was really cool, because again, as an EVE player, you're getting in-game rewards for helping real-world scientists deal with a global pandemic, and tell me that's not awesome. So why lock it behind Tech 7? Why have any form of lock on it at all? Just give it to everyone. Surely you want as many people as possible to be able to do this. At least it's not Omega. That's all I can say. Tech level 7's not particularly difficult to reach, but still, I don't get why you would in the first place. And why is it time locked? Like, EVE Online is still doing Project Discovery, despite the fact that, well, I think, the research we're now doing is ultimately not going anywhere anymore. I think that, the samples have been sent, the actual science has been done, and everything else is, now just the mini game for players to enjoy. Why you gotta time limit this? Why does it need a time limit? What is the purpose of a time limit on this? This is just the thing with NetEase at the moment that is really getting to me. It's genuinely getting to me, and I'm sort of just beginning to accept it a bit more and a bit more. And so they have really cool ideas, but then for some reason they have to push RNG, they have to push this absolutely god-awful tech level system onto everything, rather than, just get rid of the freaking tech level system already. Just do it. Just do it. Ultimately, it's just infuriating to see really cool ideas like Dormant Realms and Project Discovery being added to EVE Echoes, but you've just got to add that little twist of the knife. You can't just add it. No, we've got to use the tech level system, and we've got to add RNG, and we've got to find a way to monetize it, and all of this. And I get that a game needs to make money, but come on now, it's getting ridiculous. Let's move on. Super Lucky Draw, yay! Timed event, a new generation of Sleeper Series nanocores developed based on Sleeper technologies has been released and will be added to the Lucky Draw. It can be chosen one of the cores to provide an instant defense boost. Sleeper mode, when enabled, capacitor recharge time drops by 75% and all damage resistances go up by 50%. Damage, however, drops by 25%, shield recharge and armor repair drops by 25%, and it lasts for 30 seconds with a 300-second cooldown. So the idea is that basically you activate this sleeper mode, your capacitor and your resistances shoot through the roof, but you do a lot less damage, and your armor and shield boosters aren't going to do anything for you really as much in that time period. It lasts for 30 seconds, and then you can just, enjoy the benefits from it. Note that due to different technologies used, the sleeper mode and special mode of the ship do not interfere with each other and can take effect at the same time. So yay, we're getting a really cool nano core that has some really interesting aspects to it, but it's locked behind a paywall. Now, again, I don't mind things being locked behind a paywall if it is something that is purely cosmetic, like skins, etc. I don't even mind nanocores being behind a paywall on the basis of, that ultimately we'll get these eventually. Like, you have certain nanocores for the, like the illusory ghost and stuff like that. I don't mind that. I really don't mind that, because there are other nanocores available with different stats. This, though, has a completely different mode to it, and that mode is game-changing. Not only is it game-changing because it genuinely it's going to allow ships to be able to do stuff that they couldn't do before if you are an active player. If you're an active participant in the content you are doing, then you're going to be able to activate this when you need it. And that's gameplay mechanics that are now being locked behind not only a paywall, but a lucky draw. And I just really disagree with that. I really disagree with that. I think that something that is gameplay should be available to everyone. Assuming that you're paying an Omega subscription, everyone should have full access to everything the game has to offer in terms of gameplay. I don't like it when they do stuff like this. Let's move on again. Concord Pass. Season 11 has now started, so we can now look at that Trello where I talked about the Trello and saying that BP on there doesn't mean balance patch, it means battle pass, despite the fact they're called Concord passes here. We've seen August had BP 11, and then 6 weeks later that falls into September and you get BP 12, then October is skipped over because 6 weeks from then pushes into November, and then so on. You can see how it works on that. So, new Concord Pass. The new nanocore Vanguard will be launched in this update to provide further firepower enhancement and unique bonuses to the ships. The Apocalypse Striker Dawn skin and various Lazarus units will be available as the Concord Pass rewards. Please check Concord Pass page for more details about the rules. Now, this is where things get good for me, because I actually really like this Concord Pass. I like what they've done with the layouts of rewards. I think that's cool. I think the Apocalypse Striker is a good choice of skin here, and it's a Dawn skin as well, which do look really cool, and it's a ship that a lot of people are flying, so that's all the positive sides. Now, interestingly, the Vanguard nanocores I also really like. There are stealth bomber versions of the Vanguard nanocores that have explosion velocity bonuses on them, and that is really useful. It's a pity that so many of the other stats on them just aren't that great, but if you want to fly stealth bombers, that's pretty much a must need, because it fixes the problems that stealth bombers otherwise have with their explosion velocity. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, I did do a video on how to fix stealth bombers. Search for Captain Benzie, how to fix stealth bombers, and you'll find that video, and I go through all the math there of how explosion velocity is the biggest factor for them. So nanocores with that is really awesome. Interesting that they say that will provide further firepower enhancements, because they don't on the destroyers. You've got destroyer Vanguard nanocores for the Thrasher, the Coercer, Cormorant, and Catalyst, and they don't add any firepower at all. They lean heavily into the interdiction rolls, and what I've said I would love to see happen is that we've got these Tech 10 interdictor destroyers. I would love to see nanocores that don't actually lean into the interdictor properties, but instead turn an interdictor into a combat vessel, and have the nanocore actually disable, perhaps, the interdiction sphere launcher. So you can't fit an interdiction sphere launcher with that nanocore fitted, and that would then turn, say, the Thrasher 3 interdictor into essentially the Thrasher Fleet Issue 2, which would be awesome, and that to me would be a really cool use of nanocores as a way to modify how your ship operates, not just oh, you need this because it makes your ship better. This one would be you need it because it's different. It allows you versatility with your ship. On the other hand, though, it was nice to see things like the Astero core actually having scan res bonuses to it, which don't really help if you're using it for exploration at all. It's not an exploration core, that's very much a PvP core. It's, damage and all this kind of thing with scan res bonuses that make it easier for you to scan down enemy ships. I did some basic math on that, and you should actually be able to scan down a Dromiel. I don't think you can still reach a stage where the Dromiel won't be alerted to your scan, but you will be able to actually scan it and move in on it quite comfortably, which is awesome. I like that kind of stuff. I'm impressed with the Vanguards. Again, it feels a little bit like a missed opportunity with the destroyers, but I like that they have covered some of the lesser used ships this time around. I like that. That's how nanocores should be to me. Faction Wargames Ego Traverse. Unknown pirates attacked and tampered with Faction Wargame system. The new mode Ego Traverse is here. Time limited, again. Awesome new exciting thing, only available for 1 month. In the duel mode, capsuleers can participate in 1v1 showdowns using a battleship or battlecruiser. Oh, at least they're including battlecruisers this time. In the battle, the ships of both sides must have the same tonnage. A new bonus mechanism has been incorporated into the battlefield. Okay, so good. We are at least getting battlecruiser versus battlecruiser, so goodness knows Silent Rose might actually be able to participate in this one using a Hurricane or a Harbinger or something. I can hear Nina sort of quietly celebrating in the distance that at least he can undock his Harbinger for something now. Capsuleers can customize the distance from the spawn point to the central beacon based on different strategies, so you can warp in at range, and then if, you know, just... I don't like that. I'm not sure I like that, because it basically pushes for sniper builds, because if you're a brawler and your opponent's at range with a kiting build, there's very little you can do with that. If you're both snipers and kiting, though, well, then that is an actual engagement. I'm in two minds on that one. I think we should move on. So, in addition to the duel mode, the event also comes with a challenge mode. In this mode, capsuleers can challenge other people with no open time limit and tonnage limit, but the tonnage of both ships must be the same. Challenge mode is designed to provide capsuleers with more opportunities to practice battle, so there will be no rewards. Challenge another capsuleer by tapping the capsuleer's profile and selecting challenge invitation. So kind of like duels in EVE Online, but they take you out of the game into an actual arena. It's a little bit weird. Feels a little unnecessary, and before someone pipes up and goes, oh look Benzie, small ship content. Screw you, that is not small ship content. If it doesn't have any form of rewards whatsoever, it's just a PvP battle that, by the looks of things, isn't even going to actually lose your ship at the end of it. It's not content. That's not small ship content. That's not what I'm talking about. Invited capsuleers must dock in a station and citadel outpost first and ensure the tonnage of both ships is the same. Except for the matching method and rewards, the other mechanism and rules are similar to the dual mode of Ego Traverse. So, again, really cool arena mode here. We saw DIR Reflection. It's now come back basically as a 1v1 mode, exclusive to battleships and battlecruisers. At least it's not just battleships, but why? Why have you got this limitation on here that it is only battleships or battlecruisers? Why can I not take a cruiser in here? Why can I not do a 1v1 cruiser versus cruiser or destroyer versus destroyer? What is the problem with that? Why is that? Like, you can't tell me there's some kind of balancing mechanic in play here, because it's a 1v1 arena. It's not like you're going up against NPCs. There's nothing that actually required this lock. So once again, netties, why are you applying locks to things that just don't need them? And why is it time limited? Why August 11th to September 22nd? You've got 5 weeks to do this. 5 weeks to enjoy it, and then it goes away until they decide to add it in the future. Yeah. Let's look at the optimizations and bug fixes. Updated estimated prices based on successful transactions in the market, Nettie's seal of approval. Added to the scaling function for main interface widgets in settings, basic settings. Capsuleers can now adjust the size of the overview, fleet panel location, and chat box in the main interface. It only took 2 years for them to add what most games have at launch. Huzzah! I'm not even complaining. I am just super glad that that is finally in. That is something that we have needed since launch. Different people have different eyesight. If you can resize things and move things around the screen, that is beneficial for people with different eyesight levels. Beyond that, we're on mobile phones and devices that have different screen sizes as well. So this allows you to actually move and modify and do all that and make it your own. Good. Good. Adjusted the hit determination rules for fighters to ensure that the bombard tactics implants take effect correctly. That feels more like a bug fix than an optimization. Make the text in the chat box larger and optimize the display to make the information easier to read. And I did spot this when I logged in there, that ultimately they've increased the opacity of the back of the box and the text is a little bit larger. Hopefully you can now just scale that and make it better for you to be able to read it. I hope that's a fix for people. Speaking of fixes, fixed the issue where the warp disruption field effect lingers sometimes. Fixed an issue where some capsuleers may not be able to navigate to the cosmic anomaly when doing Awakening Calamity mission and encounters. I know some people were getting annoyed by that one, glad to see it resolved. fixed stats errors for damage control efficiency optimization and damage control overheating boost. Weren't sure there were stats errors there. Awesome. Fixed an issue where the wrong order was displayed in overview when sorted by name, and fixed the issue that the wallet balance on the shortcut operation was displayed out of the box. This is where basically the numbers were too long because you've been sitting in Claralam too long, so the numbers were actually like, you know, cascading out of the box into the next one over. Again, feels like a kind of first world problem there, but hey, I'm glad it's getting fixed. And that kind of is everything I'm seeing here. You know, I'm kind of glad they're doing these things, but I'm just perplexed as to why they're doing them the way that they're doing them. Why are things time limited? Why are things locked behind certain levels of tech level? Why are only certain ships being allowed to do this? It just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm normally the kind of guy who sits there and goes, actually, this makes sense. I know on paper it sounds bad, but this, you know, if you stop and think about it, you can get some reasons why. I read these patch notes on Wednesday when they first came out. I had almost no internet at Masuna whatsoever, but I managed to just load into the patch notes and read through them, and I sat there and I thanked myself that I was taking a week off, because, yeah, it's just, I can come back to this now fresh-faced and say, look, I am glad they added Dormant Realms. I'm perplexed as to why they did it the way they did it. I'm glad they're adding Project Discovery. I don't get why it's time limited or locked to tech levels. I'm glad that they're adding these new nanocores, but I hate the fact that it's behind a lucky wheel. I like the new Concord Pass, but I just wish they'd done more with the Destroyer nanocores. I like the Faction War Games option. I just don't get why it's time limited or locked to certain tonnages. That's what's really getting me at the moment, and what is so infuriating. Eve Echoes is such an amazing game. Like, look, we get angry at it, we get upset by the decisions, but ultimately we're still playing, we still love this game, the community is awesome, and the game itself is something truly special, which just makes it even more frustrating to watch the developers make these just really left-field decisions that make no sense. And I know people are going to go, oh, it's for monetization reasons, it's because they want this, and that's absolute. No, sorry, I'm trying not to swear here. That doesn't make sense either. Because when you lock people out of content, when you stop providing content for a certain group of people, they don't all just respec into battleships. Many people have left the game already because there's nothing for frigates, destroyers, and cruisers. So it's not a case of pushing people to monetize it. It's not, because they're losing money by doing that. I don't know. Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. That's my thoughts and opinions on this balance patch. There's some cool stuff going on here, just in such a perplexing, backwards way. Anyway, would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Thanks for watching right the way through to the end, folks. It's good to be back behind a microphone. Happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.